Egg tarts. They say for every drop of aircon condensation that hits the pavement in Hong Kong, there is an amazing egg tart coming out of the oven. Even to this day, it is still fiercely debated which is the better egg tart, the Portuguese style or the traditional Hong Kong style. The conversation is made even fiercer when you couple in new school versus old school. Do modern bakeries like Bakehouse do it better? Or is there simply no replacing the wealth of experience a place like Go Garden possesses? Those of you who have been on the channel for a while now, you see where this is going, right? On my left, I have the Bakehouse one, the new kid on the block, and on the right, I have freshly made the OG Go Garden. Let's give this a go. And now the Bakehouse one. This is just a classic comparison of Portuguese egg tarts versus Chinese egg tarts. With Go Garden's one, the Chinese one, the crust is super flaky. You can see how it disintegrates into dust between my fingers. The custard is really light, but the characteristic is how little you taste. There's not an awful lot of butter in the pastry, nor cream in the custard, nor sugar for sweetness, nor salt. And more importantly, the bake of it is very gentle. You don't get brown butter, you don't get caramelization for the most part. It's the kind of egg tart where you smell more than you taste, whereas the Bakehouse egg tart is more in your face. You can see from the surface how caramelized it is. There's a lot of richness both in the custard and in the puff pastry. You can guess that it's probably baked at a higher temperature. I want to preface this by saying that both are really good. Both are iconic of their styles. But if I were to choose one, I would go with Go Garden, only because I was lucky enough to get a fresh batch today. If you're buying it back as a souvenir, or if you're buying for takeaway, I think Bakehouse will hold up better. If you bring out the butter that much, the caramelization that much, it will be more present down the line. Whereas this flavor profile of Go Garden needs to be had fresh, as the flavors are very subtle to begin with. So with time, the flavors are going to diminish too much. Alright, you guys warmed up? Let's begin with the seasonal top 5 foods in the city video. Hello everyone, I'm Eldrick, and in this video we are exploring the most quintessential Hong Kong food. We are talking dim sum, beef brisket, roast goose, da pai tang. Having local food while traveling is what makes me the happiest. If you're expecting steak houses, pasta or cafes, you're in the wrong place, buddy. I also have to warn you that you are going to overeat in Hong Kong. I'm not doubting your discipline, I'm simply denying it. I'm kidding. Hong Kong people are just very good at their cuisine. You know who is not very good at what they do? I sometimes would plan everything about the trip. Every restaurant, every accommodation, every bus, train, flight. Only to realize during takeoff that I forgot about my travel insurance. But thanks to Income's FlexiTravel Plus Insurance, I can now buy my insurance up to 8 hours after departing Singapore. Just download the My Income app and it's super easy from then on. Not only that, with FlexiTravel Plus Insurance, I can buy coverage by the hour to destinations in Asia from only 30 cents an hour. What I like about it is that if there is a sudden change to my trip duration while overseas, I can extend or shorten my coverage easily via the My Income app. Check out FlexiTravel Plus Insurance and enjoy these benefits and more. Leave your worries behind while staying protected with FlexiTravel Plus Insurance, so you can be a happy traveler and go all in on the amazing food. More details are in the link in the video description. Stay safe, stay happy on your travels. But for now, let's start our food trail at Yue Kee Roast Goose. If I were to be honest, it's probably not practical to look for the best roast goose in Hong Kong because everyone is so good. If I were Thanos, I would curse my worst enemy not to see another loved one's face until he or she has eaten a bad roast goose in Hong Kong. But just for you, I made a trip to Yue Kee, allegedly one of the legendary names in the scene. Yue Kee is quite a way up north, but there is a direct bus from the main area of Hong Kong. In this area, roast goose restaurants are stacked up against each other shoulder to shoulder. You have to look for their mascot, the one that looks like it escaped from a 90s comic book. It should be pretty easy to find with Google Maps. I got their half goose, and while it is important to be precise with food, don't ever forget to sometimes just there are layers to mastery. There is what you know, think of that as the ground level. There is what you know can be improved, which is anywhere from the ground to the sky. And then there's what you don't know you can improve. I don't know how this can be better. Crispy, crackling skin, super juicy both from the fat and the meat juices. Tender meat, seasoned all the way down to the bone but not overbearing. You still taste the original flavor of the goose. Super oily all around, but that's just the nature of the bird. Which then you go in with this sour plum sauce. It's even better with rice when you let the goose fat find its way into the rice. It also alleviates the richness and scratches that carbohydrate itch. Ooh. I am usually capable of coming up with at least 1 or 2 misses, or at least a difference in preferences. But this is perfect. I also ordered some ken, my favorite. Their braise is a little bit different from ours in Singapore and Malaysia. This is significantly looser. I never had this before. Goose liver, I believe. Decent. Almost the same texture as the ken. A little bit crunchy on the outside and a little bit, like I said, lighter braise. But pretty expected. The real deal is still here. The skin is truly amazing. All that smokiness trapped in there with the animal fat. It is both crunchy and juicy at the same time. Wow. Shout out to whoever suggested this to me. Alright, I'll see you guys at the next stop. Next, we are headed to another culinary institution, Hing Kee Claypot Rice. This is a legendary place that still does the claypot rice the traditional way, with charcoal fire and actual real claypots. Not the pirated ones you see in your nearest food court. They have perhaps more than 50 variations of the claypot rice and maybe another 200 items on the menu. I went with the white eel one. It came steaming hot. I added the compulsory sauce to it, gave it a good mix, and then oh, that was delicious. Honestly, made claypot rice is always a treat because claypot rice is bad business. The claypot is expensive and breaks easily, as you can see from my claypot. It takes a lot of skill to cook claypot rice properly, so it's not scalable. You cannot get in 5 chefs and teach them how to cook claypot rice. You actually need a master, and to some extent you cannot really price properly because there are so many fake claypot rice out there undermining your product, and it's very hard to work in the operational cost of broken claypot rice and skilled labor. But in exchange, what you get from using the claypot is this incredible scent. You don't even need to talk about the sauce rice or the charred base that claypot rice is known for. Just the white rice, the fragrance is so significant because claypot rice is porous. So when you cook it over an open flame, all that flavor will reach the white rice. The lid shuts it tight, it does not get to escape. And at the same time, the ingredient that is cooked with, super skillfully cooked. The eel, you can see the gelatin and what that does for the rice. It's tender and cooked through, which is not that easy to do when you are cooking it in a clay pot. You don't have a direct control over it, and you have to time it with the rice. You top it off with the sauce, the seasoning. Together, it is a taste that you cannot achieve at home. But there are things that I do not like about it. The menu is so confusing. They have no less than 300 items and 50 types of clay pot, if I'm counting right. But not one option of the clay pot have a lot of ingredients. They always limit the clay pot to 1, 2 or 3 ingredients as far as I can read it. And I feel like it's a missed opportunity to capitalize on that ingredients to pump all that ingredient power into the rice. It's like the rice is ready to absorb all that flavor. So I feel the ceiling is even higher than this. And the second thing that I don't like is the sauce, which is strange. Normally where I come from, they use a dark soya sauce with this clay pot, and that roastiness that you can give the clay pot is incredible. But this sauce combination is more of a light soya sauce. So as you expect, it's more light and salty. Does very well for seasoning, but again, I feel like that's another missed opportunity. Maybe it's just not the way they do things here. I'm fine. I just thought I'll just say it. At a certain point, I stopped eating clay pot rice in Singapore because I found that a lot of people are lying. So it's a nice surprise to have it again. Oh, I'm assuming all of you all have tried claypot rice before. If you haven't tried it before, then please try it. This is a really good example. Next, we got to talk about the Wanton Mee. Back in my younger days, I once spent 3 months traveling to 5 different countries and had 38 plates of Wanton Mee in order to find the best one. The places I visited in Hong Kong were Mark's Noodle, Mark Monkey, Chim Chai Kee, and He Hong Ji. The quality of noodles and wontons there were insane. Although the alkaline taste of the noodles can get overbearing at times, I would recommend going for their soup noodles and seasoning it lightly with the condiments provided on the table, especially the red vinegar. I won't go into details because most of you here probably heard what I wanted to say. I will repeat that He Hong Ji is my favorite amongst the four. The texture of the noodles and the plumpness of the wontons were tough to forget. Speaking of things that are tough to forget, I vividly remember being treated really badly during my last trip to Hong Kong. Not this one. The servers were permanently annoyed. You got rushed at every order, only to have the food bounce past to you. So, I want to ask the Hong Kong people, what happened? Because this trip, the Hong Kong people were so nice. I've been to all the neighboring cities recently, Bangkok, Guangzhou, KL, Tokyo, Seoul, and I'll say this, Hong Kong's F&B hospitality is the nicest in the region. I know you don't believe me, I wouldn't as well. So I got evidence. At the egg tart place earlier, I smuggled Bakehouse egg tart into a Go Garden. They had all the right to stop me, even throw me out. But instead, the auntie came over to chat. 新加坡。新加坡。好，谢谢。哪一个好喝？哪一个好喝啊？那个蛋挞，你们的当然。我们这个好吃。对。当然啦，这个。当然是你们的。At Yue Gi, the roast goose place, they were probably wondering what kind of psychopath orders half a roast goose with no drink. 不用，我喝茶。没事，有的东西呢是那个有点饮料是可以送的，就是不用紧，可以，我喜欢喝茶，只喝茶是吧？喝茶，谢谢。At Hing Kee, they were really nice too, and they allowed me to charge my phone off the wall socket. Some of you might be thinking, Aldrey, it's cause you're handsome, what? Why you all give that face? Can I make a joke or not? Can you oblige me a little bit? You are never ever entertain me one. This was the best surprise that I've gotten in a while because food just tastes so much better when you feel welcomed. It really touched my heart. And speaking of touching hearts, next we are having one of the most beautifully named dishes, dim sum. We are now at Lin Heung Lau. Ts&Cs is one of the most poetic names that I've ever come across. It literally means touch the heart. It came from a culture where small bites were offered in tea houses for travelers back in the Silk Road days. And the intent wasn't to fill up these travelers. The intent was to delight them or to touch their heart, which is an insanely romantic concept if you think about the scarcity of those days. So here you take a seat, you get an order sheet, and then you just go get what you want for the push carts or the station where they sell fried stuff. I got a few things to start with. I don't know how much it costs, but let's yet more tap. I got their char siu bao, har gao, fong zhuao or chicken feet, and this siu mai cousin is basically a white siu mai with a quail egg on top, and they were all good. Do I consider my heart touched? Not really, no. I would consider their dim sum a notch above average, which is a good place to be, but I kind of still want to get more. Oh, 有肠粉吗? Next up, we got some fried milk and char siu chong fan, which is char siu wrapped in a thin sheet of rice flour. I want to go for different textures. Let's give this a go. Second round not as good. Unlucky for me, I got the fried milk that has been sitting out for a while. It's cool and perceivably more oily. Not that it's more oily, because it's fried food, it's always going to be oily. But when it's at room temperature, you can kind of feel more of its oiliness. And then the changfen, it lacks that sexy silkiness of a chi chong fan. There is one reason why I eat chi chong fan, is to have that slippery, super thin sheet of rice flour deliver all the ingredients inside into your mouth. The way it feels in your palate is like running your fingers up a silk dress. But here is not the case. The skin is rather thick and chewy. It's almost like a kuih kind of texture. Is this how they have it in Hong Kong? Am I misunderstanding that the thin silkiness is the pride of chi chong fan? I don't know. Alright, I'll go head over and pay, and then I'll see you guys at the next stop. Audrey, isn't this video top 5? Sounded to me like the dim sum was pretty mid. You're right. I can't say that my heart was touched at Lin Heung Lau. I guess you dim sum, you lose some. Okay, fine, scrap that. Let's move on to our next place. a real top 5. Sister Wa beef brisket noodles. This is a noodle dish where different parts of beef are topped on some noodles. I got their beef brisket, tendon and tripe noodles. And this was perfectly cooked. I know, the food vlogger cliche, ew. But these 3 toppings have different cook times, and yet they nailed all 3 like their Steph Curry. The brisket holds its shape, yet it just flicks as you bite through. The tendon is gelatinous and tender. The tripe has a nice whip but not stubborn. It reminds me of that one Shokugeki episode where Soma goes up against Mimasaka with beef stew. The noodles were left pretty plain because you're supposed to spike it yourself with some red vinegar and chili oil. There is just one little tiny problem. Tap Toi. For the uninitiated, Tap Toi or Ta Tai refers to a dining culture in Hong Kong where diners are expected to share tables with others. It is usually pretty reasonable in most restaurants, but at Sister Wa, I have to draw the line. I was shoved into this small table with 4 other people. 4! 5 of us had perhaps a good 30 centimeters to ourselves, all afraid to speak a bit louder in fear of disturbing the rest. I was so tempted to ask the rest of the table, all of them locals, how are you okay with this? Tell me, is there anywhere else in the world where you can spend 20 USD on a bowl of noodles but still not get enough space to eat? I don't care if you're royalty or a peasant. Everybody deserves enough space to eat. And I don't buy the rent is expensive, there's a lot of people in the queue argument. Because this is not a unique problem. Every restaurant in the world faces this problem. But there is a line. If I can feel another person's breath on my food, that crosses the line. Okay, just talking about this got me so worked up. Let's take a break with the honorary mention of this video. Perhaps the best lemon tea in the world. Vita Lemon Tea. This is a cult favorite in Hong Kong, and you can find it everywhere. But I have to warn you, drinking this is like drinking unicorn blood in Harry Potter. You will be cursed. Cursed with never liking another convenience store lemon tea ever again. Polka, Heaven and Earth will all be dead to you. It is the only lemon tea that tastes like a tea, instead of just being a lemonade. I have included a Shopee link for this if you want to check it out. The markup is pretty severe, but what can you do? Free markets, baby! Next, we are moving on to the last recommendation of this video, a Hong Kong icon, 大排档. We are now at Oi Man Seng or Ai Wen Shen, a classical 大排档. And this is my favorite kind of restaurant. You see the same in Singapore and Malaysia, we have zi cha. You see the same in Indonesia, they have warong. It's basically an extension of the family kitchen. You get to order like communal dishes to share. You can solo if you want. The menu is extensive and it showcases the cooking style of that area. 大排档, however, is a culture that is unique to Hong Kong. It refers to the actual signboard that the government gave out post-war. The one in white and red, it gives you the license to do business. So while Guangzhou also has 大排档, the terminology is imported from Hong Kong. We have a spread, but I want to start with the fried rice first. For a restaurant like this, the fried rice is like a first hello and handshake. You can tell a lot just from the fried rice. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much now. Amazing fragrance. You can probably see like the little black beads on the plate that transfer this smokiness to the rice. That is met with the egg fragrance as well, seasoned really well, and then you complement it with prawn, real char siu, not fake char siu. By the way, can I talk to Singapore zi-chars for a moment? When did we all agree to use vegetarian char siu for fried rice? Did you know that your fried rice from your zi-char is vegetarian? Coming back, real char siu, prawn treated with baking soda, crunchy vegetables, it would have gotten very high marks. Except the rice is very soft. And there are at least 2 reasons. One is not using 隔夜饭. There's the whole explanation behind retrogradation that I don't want to go into now. And 2, overcooking it in the wok, where the rice breaks down too much. And that rice texture, that li li fen ming, I think is a very big factor in fried rice. Otherwise, this would have been really good. I highly doubt a restaurant of their status would not use 隔夜饭. So I would think the rice is overcooked in the wok. It's almost mushy. And when I try to move it around, you can see that it comes up, it's not really loose. One more miss for the fried rice is that the prawn is overwashed with baking soda. There is no more prawn flavor left. You just taste this like tasteless tap water alkaline kind of taste. The texture is really good, really crunchy, but the the technique of applying baking soda is overdone. And I think they're using it on frozen prawns also, which is fine for this area, but something's got to give if you want to keep the prawn flavor. But everything else really nice. Let's move on to the stir-fried bamboo clam. This is why I like restaurants like this, man. It's like going to your best friend's house and they just sit you down with simply made dishes done right. The clam texture just right. It feels like a clam, but the flavor is more towards a mussel. Does smell a bit more. That's why they added chili in the sauce to suppress that, and then also a little bit of black bean to increase the umami level. And the result is just something so easy to enjoy. It's not crazily sophisticated, and that just makes you want to go back again and again. It is this kind of dish that's iconic of the neighborhood kitchen. And then finally, this looked much smaller in the picture, and I ordered this because I wanted to do this. Oh, not that great. I'm pretty confident that this is frozen, maybe even more than frozen. I feel like the pig trotter was prepped beforehand, perhaps in a central kitchen, cooked down till tender, and then frozen. So when they want it, they just take it out, bring it up to temperature, and then do this sauce on it. This black pepper sauce is the same sauce that you put on any chicken chop on this side of the world. Like, I can Bluetooth to you how it tastes. Received it? But the pork trotter itself does not taste great. When you freeze such meats, especially pork, the fats are the first one to develop their off flavor. And then the inside tastes exactly like that Christmas supermarket bundle that you buy, where they give you the pork hock, frozen in the vacuum seal, and then you need to reheat it. The insides taste exactly like that. It even looks the same. Look at this red color. This is further evidence that the pork hock has been cured. Usually when you cook pork, it turns greyish white, right? That's because the pink myoglobin breaks down with heat. The nitrites used in curing food react with the myoglobin to form nitrosomyoglobin, which is heat stable, thus the pink color remains. Otherwise pretty okay. I really enjoyed the bamboo clams, but if I were to be blunt, if you're from Singapore or Malaysia, you might find that your nearest Zi Cha might be able to compete with this level. So yeah, I'll pass you all back to at home Eldrick. Wait, Eldrick, you didn't look too impressed with Oi Man Sing. Are you sure it's a top 5? Okay, fine, let's scrap it again. You guys never let me get away with anything. For a real top 5, come with me to the end of the line. Not in a Captain America Bucky kind of way, as in literally the end of the Chai Wan line. We are now at Chai Wan, in front of Seng Kwai Heung, and ordered a San Ping. I got char siu, and this I've never seen before, char siu roasted ribs, and a duck drumstick. And this is nearly $20, but it does look incredibly good. Like damn, the smoke ring. And I realized this rather curious thing. Here in Hong Kong, they like their char siu pretty even, like barely adding char marks. And it's definitely by design because their char siu ribs are super well caramelized. Anyway, enough talk. Oh. Straight up, no misses. The tenderness of the char siu, I'll show you guys, just tears apart, it's cut along the grain. The seasoning is what you expect, but the special part is the scent of it. It has this quality that top grade smoked meats have. You think about the expensive kind in restaurants or Jet Barbecue, shout out Jet Barbecue, and they all have this fragrance, a fragrance that you cannot get in your home kitchen, not unless you want to smoke up the place. But more interestingly, they do char siu both ways. So you actually get the kind that we like in Singapore and Malaysia, the really burnt kind, the burnt ends, especially this part with the fatty bits. Freaking delicious. This is my first time having char siu ribs. And the composition of lean meat to fats is very interesting. The duck drumstick is perfect as well. Nothing that I would consider an anomaly. It is just done legitimately and really well. I had char siu 4 to 5 times now in Hong Kong. I would say this is the best one I had, but not by far. Alright, I'll pass you all back to At Home Eldrick. And that's all I have for you guys this time. All of the place details are in the video description along with the Google Map links. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Income Insurance for sponsoring the video. Wishing you guys a happy travel on your next trip, and stay protected with FlexiTravel Plus, because if it's happy travelers, it's Income Insurance. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!